Have you ever wondered why some people always seem to get their way, while others are constantly outplayed? Everyone wants influence, but few understand the hidden rules that make it possible. In this video, we'll break down 7 Machiavellian rules that reveal how power really works. Stay until the end, because once you see these principles, you'll never look at human behavior the same way again. Here, on this crowded planet, a complex and often invisible struggle unfolds. The rules of this game are ancient, etched into the very fabric of our social nature, a silent language understood by all, yet spoken fluently by only a select few. It is a dance of intellect, will, and at times, ruthless ambition. 5 centuries ago, Niccolò Machiavelli looked upon the turbulent world of Renaissance Italy, a landscape of warring city-states and shifting allegiances, and he did not flinch. He observed the behaviors of princes and paupers, of popes and generals, with the dispassionate eye of a naturalist. What he recorded was not a guide to how humanity ought to behave, but a chillingly accurate field guide to how it does behave when the stakes are absolute. His philosophy, often maligned, remains a vital, if unsettling, key to understanding the timeless mechanics of influence. In the chapters that follow, we will journey deep into this Machiavellian landscape. We will strip away the moralistic veils that so often obscure our view of human behavior and examine the raw machinery of power as it operates in our modern world. We will explore 7 fundamental rules, psychological and strategic principles that govern the acquisition, the maintenance, and the protection of authority. These are not lessons in morality, but observations of strategy. They are the hidden currents that direct the flow of ambition, the unseen architecture supporting the grand citadels of influence that shape our daily lives. This is a world where perception is a weapon, where alliances are temporary tools, and where the most dangerous predator is the one whose intentions remain unseen. To navigate this terrain is to understand the fundamental nature of the human animal in its most competitive state. We will observe the tactics of the successful, the missteps of the fallen, and the enduring principles that dictate who rises and who is left behind. The pursuit of power is, in its own way, a struggle for survival, and these are its unspoken laws. Prepare to see the world not as you wish it were, but as it is. The first and most fundamental battle for power is fought not on a physical battlefield, but in the minds of others. Here, perception is reality. The successful practitioner of power is a creation, a carefully constructed persona designed with purpose. Every word, gesture, and silence shapes this architecture. It's not about hiding, but projecting a specific, advantageous image. Leadership is a performance. The persona projected is one of confidence and clarity, regardless of inner doubts. The apprentice of power must become a master sculptor of their own myth, studying the expectations of their audience. Reputation is the shadow you cast, manipulated, lengthened, or shortened to serve your purpose. The world does not react to who you are, but to who it thinks you are. Control perception, and you control power. I share breakdowns of psychology and power every week. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Once control over perception is established, the next layer of Machiavellian strategy reveals itself, the deliberate and calculated use of deception. This is not the clumsy, artless lying of the common criminal, but a far more refined and potent art form. It is the strategic use of misdirection, the careful deployment of half-truths, and the masterful weaponization of ambiguity. The true master of power understands that honesty is a luxury, a tool to be used selectively, not a universal principle to be adhered to at all costs. The goal is not to be truthful, but to appear truthful while advancing one's own agenda. Consider the world of high-stakes politics, a treacherous ecosystem where information is currency and survival depends on outmaneuvering one's rivals. A political figure navigating a complex legislative battle may need to secure the vote of a wavering colleague. A direct, honest appeal might fail, revealing too much of their own strategy and desperation. Instead, they employ a more subtle approach. They might confide in this colleague, sharing a secret piece of information, a piece that is, in reality, carefully fabricated or misleading, designed to guide the colleague toward a desired conclusion. The deception is layered. It is wrapped in the flattering guise of confidentiality, making the target feel important, an insider. The lie itself is not a blunt falsehood, but a plausible scenario, a rumor that seems to confirm the target's own biases or fears. For instance, the politician might hint that the opposition party is planning a move that would be detrimental to the colleague's home district, a fabrication designed to push them into an alliance out of a sense of self-preservation. This is not a simple lie. It is a carefully constructed psychological trap. The effectiveness of such a maneuver lies in its subtlety. It allows the target to believe they are making a rational decision based on privileged information. They do not feel manipulated, they feel astute. The political operator, meanwhile, has achieved their objective without revealing their true intentions or the extent of their machinations. They have used deception not as a sledgehammer, but as a scalpel, precisely excising resistance and implanting a new course of action. This is the essence of calculated deception, to lead others to your desired outcome, while making them believe the path was their own. Strategic deception often involves not just planting false information, but also creating a general atmosphere of confusion and uncertainty, a fog of war that clouds the judgment of adversaries. In this disorienting environment, a rival cannot distinguish between a genuine threat and a feint, between a real weakness and a deliberately placed trap. The Machiavellian strategist thrives in this fog, for they are the one who created it. They remain clear-headed and purposeful, while everyone around them stumbles in the dark, reacting to phantoms and shadows of the strategist's own making. Imagine a political campaign entering its final, crucial weeks. A candidate seeking to disrupt a front-running opponent might employ such a tactic. They could leak multiple contradictory plans for their upcoming strategy. One rumor suggests a major policy announcement is imminent. Another hints at the release of damaging opposition research. A third whispers of a surprising new endorsement. The opponent's campaign is forced to react, to expend precious time, energy and resources preparing for multiple potential scenarios, none of which may be real. The goal here is not to make the opponent believe one specific lie, but to overwhelm their capacity for strategic thought. While the opponent's team is stretched thin, chasing ghosts and debating the meaning of contradictory signals, the candidate can proceed with their actual hidden plan. They might be quietly focusing all their resources on a specific, overlooked demographic, a move that goes completely unnoticed amidst the deliberately generated noise. The fog has provided the perfect cover for their true advance. This creation of ambiguity is a powerful offensive and defensive tool. Offensively, it exhausts and distracts the enemy. Defensively, it conceals one's true intentions and vulnerabilities. When your movements are unpredictable and your signals are conflicting, you become an impossible target to read, let alone counter. Rivals become hesitant, second-guessing their own intelligence and instincts. They are paralyzed by uncertainty, a state of strategic inertia from which the creator of the fog is immune. They have turned the very landscape of information into a weapon. Perhaps the most sophisticated form of calculated deception is what philosophers have sometimes termed the noble lie. This is a falsehood, told not for petty, personal gain, but for what is framed as a greater good, to maintain social order, to inspire a population, or to unite a fractured group against a common enemy. The political leader who masters this art can shape the destiny of nations, wielding falsehoods as tools of statecraft. They justify their deception by the magnitude of their goals, believing the ends sanctify the means. Think of a nation on the brink of a difficult war. The leader understands that the true casualty reports would demoralize the public and cripple the war effort. An honest accounting of the immense cost and uncertain outcome might lead to dissent and collapse. So, the leader constructs a different narrative. They speak of glorious victories, even when battles are stalemates. They downplay losses, framing them as strategic retreats. They invent stories of enemy atrocities to galvanize public anger and resolve, uniting the populace with a shared sense of righteous fury. This is a deception of immense scale and consequence. The leader is not merely misleading a rival. They are shaping the collective consciousness of millions. They are crafting a reality that is more palatable, more motivating, and ultimately more useful to their objective than the truth. They present an image of strength, unity, and inevitable victory, knowing that the belief in victory can itself become a self-fulfilling prophecy. The lie becomes a pillar supporting the entire national effort, a necessary fiction to stave off the debilitating effects of a harsh reality. The practitioner of the noble lie operates from a position of profound and perhaps arrogant self-assurance. They have appointed themselves the arbiter of what the populace can and cannot handle, the guardians of a truth too dangerous for public consumption. It is the ultimate expression of Machiavellian thinking that the preservation and exercise of power sometimes require the leader to rise above conventional morality, to deceive their own people for what they perceive to be their own good. It is a dangerous and potent strategy, where the line between a statesman and a tyrant becomes perilously thin. Power isn't just about strategy, it's also about mastering your inner world. If you've ever struggled with stress, anxiety, or toxic dynamics, therapy can be a game changer. Check out the link in the description for online therapy, and don't forget to use the code THERAPY20 for 20% off your first session. In the complex world of human society, no one thrives alone. Survival and dominance are collective endeavors shaped by alliances. The lone wolf may symbolize independence, but it's the pack that claims the territory. Alliances are rarely about affection. They're calculated exchanges of resources and support. Each handshake weaves a thread in a larger tapestry of influence. The master strategist curates allies for information, leverage, or social capital, each chosen for a purpose. History's House of Borgia mastered this art, forging and discarding alliances as needed. In today's corporate world, the same principles apply. Alliances are tools, not friendships. In the end, alliances are instruments of acquisition, not bonds of fellowship. If this is resonating so far, a quick like goes a long way. It really helps the channel. In the natural world, survival depends on perceiving weakness. A predator scans a herd, not seeing a uniform mass, but a tapestry of strength and vulnerability. Its eyes are drawn to the slightest limp, the hesitant step, the individual lagging at the edge. This instinct is mirrored in human power dynamics. The ambitious learn to see beyond confidence, observing subtle tells that betray inner turmoil. A boast may mask insecurity, eagerness to please may hide fear of rejection. These are cracks in the armor, openings for the perceptive. Weakness is a lever. With the right pressure, it can move mountains of influence. The ego is the most potent vulnerability, a control panel for the human machine. Subtle flattery, validating someone's deepest beliefs, creates a bond of dependence. Goaded by praise, people overreach, exposing themselves to risk. Another weakness is our sense of reciprocity. A well-timed favor creates a subtle obligation. When the moment is right, the manipulator collects, turning kindness into power. In the intricate dance for power and position, trust is a fragile commodity. The Machiavellian mind operates on a stark and fundamental assumption. Betrayal is not a possibility, it is an inevitability. To believe in unwavering loyalty is to indulge in a dangerous sentimentality. To build one's fortress on shifting sand. Every ally, every subordinate, every friend is driven by the same engine of self-interest. When the calculus of that self-interest changes, loyalty becomes a luxury they can no longer afford. To anticipate this turn is not pessimism, it is the highest form of realism. This expectation is rooted in a deep understanding of human psychology. We are creatures of self-preservation. When faced with a choice between our own well-being and the well-being of another, our instincts will almost always guide us toward the former. In the competitive arenas of politics, business, and social hierarchy, situations that force this choice are commonplace. A subordinate will be offered a promotion to take their boss's job. An ally will see an opportunity to seize power for themselves. To be surprised by this is to be naive. The master strategist, therefore, never grants complete trust. They compartmentalize information, ensuring that no single individual holds all the keys to the kingdom. They create systems of checks and balances, pitting the ambitions of their subordinates against one another, making them spies for each other. This web of mutual suspicion ensures that any plot to betray the leader is likely to be reported by a rival seeking to curry favor. The leader fosters an environment where loyalty to them is the most profitable and safest path for everyone beneath them. This mindset transforms how one builds relationships. Alliances are formed with a clear-eyed view of their transactional nature. Friendships are maintained, but with a guarded heart. The strategist listens more than they speak, always gathering information, always assessing the shifting motivations of those around them. They are constantly asking themselves, what does this person want, and what might they do to get it? This perpetual vigilance, this constant anticipation of the inevitable turn, is the shield that protects them from the dagger in the back. It is the price of survival at the top. Anticipating betrayal is not merely a passive state of watchfulness. It is an active and often provocative process. The truly adept practitioner of power does not simply wait for loyalty to fail, they test it. They create controlled scenarios, small trials designed to gauge the character and intentions of those within their orbit. These trust tests are subtle, often disguised as mundane requests or accidental oversights. But their purpose is deadly serious: to unearth a potential traitor before they have the chance to strike. It is a form of proactive self-preservation. One common method is the dissemination of false information. The leader might share a piece of sensitive but fabricated news with a specific subordinate and a different version with another. They then watch to see which version of the story begins to circulate. If the secret leaks, the source of the betrayal is immediately identified. This tactic not only exposes the untrustworthy, but also serves as a powerful warning to others. It sends a clear message that the leader is observant and that disloyalty will be discovered and punished, creating a powerful deterrent. Another form of testing involves the presentation of a tempting opportunity for minor betrayal. A manager might accidentally leave a confidential document on their desk before leaving the room, wanting to see if a particular employee will peek. Or they might delegate a task with a built-in ethical dilemma, observing the choice their subordinate makes when they believe they are not being watched. These are not traps meant to ruin someone, but diagnostic tools designed to reveal their underlying moral and ambitious calculus. The results determine the level of trust and responsibility that individual can be given. The most sophisticated tests are psychological. A leader might feign a moment of weakness or vulnerability in front of a suspected rival. They watch closely. Does the rival offer genuine support, or do they show a flicker of satisfaction, a subtle sign that they see an opportunity? This manufactured vulnerability can lure a predator out of hiding, causing them to reveal their true intentions prematurely. By constantly probing, testing, and assessing, the strategist maintains an accurate map of the loyalties and ambitions around them, ensuring they are never truly caught by surprise. The ultimate expression of anticipating betrayal is to build a system where personal trust is rendered irrelevant. The most durable structures of power are not based on the fickle nature of human loyalty, but on a robust economy of distrust. This is a system where the mechanisms of control, verification, and mutual accountability are so strong that an individual's personal feelings become secondary. The system itself, not the goodwill of its participants, guarantees stability. It is a profoundly Machiavellian concept to harness the inherent selfishness of individuals to create a loyal collective. In such a system, power is deliberately decentralized in a way that prevents any single person from accumulating too much. Responsibilities are divided, and tasks require the cooperation of multiple, often competing individuals to be completed. A financial officer may have the power to write a check, but a different executive in a separate department must provide the authorization. This forces transparency and makes clandestine action nearly impossible. Each actor in the system becomes a watchdog for the others, not out of loyalty to the leader, but because their own. In the intricate world of human interaction, power often belongs to those who master the art of concealing intentions. The most successful are not always the strongest, but those who move unseen, their true motives hidden. For the Machiavellian strategist, camouflage is of the mind. Concealing your true intentions is a vital tactic for survival and dominance. To reveal your purpose is to arm your rivals. The true master moves like a phantom in the fog, their goals shrouded in mystery. This art is a delicate dance, a constant performance. Lay false trails, feign interest in trivial matters, and let your true objective remain hidden. Misdirection is not just deception, it is environmental manipulation. Become a puzzle no one can solve. When rivals cannot read you, they are paralyzed by uncertainty. Their energy is wasted, their judgment clouded. While they guess, you advance unseen, securing your position before they realize the game has begun. Master your own expressions, and you master the emotions of others. In the end, your true intentions remain your secret, until the moment of your victory. Power, once acquired, is fragile. It is not a permanent fixture, but a dynamic force that must be constantly nurtured and protected. The final and perhaps most crucial Machiavellian rule is the maintenance of authority. Authority is rooted in perception, an unshakable aura of command. It is the silent collective agreement of others that you are in charge. This is achieved through presence, deliberate movements, a steady gaze, and a voice that commands attention through confidence, not volume. The more one acts like a powerful leader, the more power others will cede to them. Authority becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. To maintain authority, a leader must cultivate a certain distance, remaining somewhat separate, an enigmatic figure whose inner world is not fully accessible. Alternate between calculated moments of warmth and longer periods of dignified reserve. This mystique amplifies perceived stature. Authority is preserved by setting high standards, demanding excellence, and enforcing rules consistently and impartially. The true Machiavellian leader is not a capricious despot, but a cold, rational enforcer of the laws they have laid down. This is how authority endures. We have journeyed through the shadowy landscape of Machiavellian strategy, exploring the 7 rules that have governed the acquisition and maintenance of power for centuries. From the careful construction of perception to the unyielding protection of authority, these principles form a blueprint for navigating the complex, often treacherous currents of human ambition. They are not relics of a bygone era of princes and palaces, but living, breathing tactics that play out every day in boardrooms, in political arenas, and in the subtle social jockeying of our daily lives. They are the hidden architecture of our world. These rules reveal a stark and perhaps uncomfortable truth about the nature of our species. They show us that the pursuit of power is a fundamental, instinctual drive, an intricate game with its own timeless logic. The strategies of calculated deception, the exploitation of weakness, and the cold calculus of alliances are not aberrations of human behavior. They are an integral part of it. To ignore their existence is to leave oneself vulnerable, to become a pawn in a game you do not understand. To recognize them is the first step towards mastering your own destiny, or at the very least, defending yourself from those who would master it for you. We encourage you to look at the world around you through this new lens. Observe the leaders you admire and the rivals you face. See if you can discern the hidden intentions behind the public statements, the strategic alliances forming and dissolving beneath the surface of collegiality, the subtle projections of authority in a simple handshake. The world is a grand stage, and the drama of power is its most enduring play. By understanding the script, you gain a profound insight into the motivations and actions of all its players, including yourself. As our exploration concludes, we are left with a final, lingering question. Is this relentless, strategic pursuit of power a flaw in our nature, a primitive instinct we must strive to overcome? Or is it the very engine of progress, the competitive fire that forges greatness out of chaos and drives humanity forward, for better or for worse? The answer, like power itself, is rarely simple, and often depends entirely on who is asking and why. The game is always being played. The only choice is whether to be a player or a piece. If you found this useful, give it a like, share it with someone who'd benefit, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and check out the next video waiting for you right here.